This is from the south. My name is Reagan Evans in Caracas, Venezuela. The government here, including President Nicolas Maduro, are expressing concern over the rate of violence as groups of opposition protesters continue to become more aggressive. Just this week, they set fire to an office of the Supreme Court and attacked a building in which small children were kept. It's been over 2 months since the opposition leaders and their supporters took to the streets in protest against the government, most recently fueled by the impending Constituent Assembly. This week, the country's Attorney General sought to challenge the move, but was barred by the Supreme Court, which said the Constituent Assembly is constitutional.
El pueblo de Venezuela amaneciera con alguna noticia de una conspiración, de un complot para tratar de detener el proceso popular constituyente que constitucionalmente está fijado para el 30 de julio, yo llamo a la Unión Cívico-Militar a derrotar en las calles la conspiración, el complot y el golpe de Estado que se pueda pretender contra este llamado constitucional.
Cubans relying on US dollars from tourism are uncertain of the policies of Donald Trump's administration. The US president is set to announce a new Cuba policy on Friday, and many believe it will likely tighten up some rules on travels and trade, rolling back parts of former President Barack Obama's opening toward the island. US citizens now make up some 7% of total visits, 15% including Cuban Americans. The United States still officially prohibits its citizens from visiting Cuba as tourists.
And if the president were to make any changes in any trade policies, in any tourism policies, or in any policies that would affect travel for Americans to Cuba and the transfer of information, of goods, of knowledge, and music, and money, would be a gross mistake.
According to the UN mission in Colombia, the FARC have handed in over 60% of their weapons to the government, where 4,400 firearms have been handed in. Last year's signed peace agreement by FARC and the Colombian government state that the guerrilla group should hand over all their weapons to the United Nations within 180 days after the signature, which expired at the end of last month. As part of the continued ongoing strike, thousands of Colombian teachers took part in a nighttime demonstration in Bogotá against unfavorable conditions in the public sector. Teachers began the strike on May 11th and have been demanding a raise of 16%, but the government has only offered 12%. The government in Argentina is cutting pensions and other benefits for the disabled. The Ministry of Social Development has begun to apply a decree adopted by President Carlos Menem in the 1990s, but never applied since then. It cancels pension payments to disabled people who have a close relative or who already receives a pension or who owns an asset like a car. 70,000 people have lost their benefits this year as a result. Hundreds of public servants took to the streets of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil on Tuesday to protest against the delay of salary payments. The demonstrators were also upset over the paralysis of the benefit system for the public sector. The protesters belonging to the Unified Movement of State Public Servants marched from Rio de Janeiro city centre to Guanabara Palace. At least 12 people have been confirmed dead and another 75 injured after a blaze engulfed the Tower Block in London in the early hours of Wednesday. The death toll is expected to rise as many are still thought to be trapped inside. The fire engulfed all floors of the block, which contained 120 apartments. The cause of the fire has yet to be determined. However, residents told reporters that they have voiced their concerns about the lack of fire safety in the building in the past. A gunman opened fire on a congressional charity baseball practice this Wednesday in Washington, D.C. The shooting wounded U.S. House Majority Whip Steve Scalise, 2 Capitol Hill police officers and 2 congressional staffers. The attacker, who has been identified as James Hodgkinson, was killed after a shootout with Capitol Hill police officers. And to close, Portugal midfielder William Carvalho says that Cristiano Ronaldo was with the national team with body and soul. His statement follows the filing of a tax fraud suit against Ronaldo by the prosecutor's office in Madrid on Tuesday. Portugal's opening match in the tournament is against Mexico in Kazan on June 18th. There is more on these and other stories on our website, telesurtv.net/English. For TeleSUR English, I'm Reagan Evans.